I'd like to start by telling you a story, and it regards some of the people that we work with every day. These are the members of the SORT team. Andrea Myrie, our executive director, leads this effort, and every Friday, this group goes out to start working with and engaging with people who have otherwise very limited access to housing. There's a story that goes with this, and it revolves around one of our volunteers. Andy has been working with us for a couple of years, and every Friday he's there when the team assembles at Van Buren House and they collect their gear and start heading out. Well, Andy decided that it was really difficult to get everybody up and going first thing in the morning, and so he started swinging by coffee culture as he headed out. And one of the things he would do is get himself some coffee and asked if he could buy some additional coffee. And so as he was going out to the camps, here's this guy. Picture this. It's cold, it's wet, it's drizzling. And this guy's coming out into the camps carrying a thermos full of fresh, hot coffee. And oftentimes, the first part of the conversation starts with, "Hi, how you doing? What's up this morning?" And if you've been sitting in a tent all night and you're cold and you're wet and you're miserable, and there's some guy who's silly enough to be out there at that hour of the morning with a cup of hot coffee, who's going to say no to that? And that's how a lot of these conversations and interactions get started, where we start talking to these individuals. What are your needs? What can we do for you? Do you need water? Do you need access to some medical care? Are you interested in housing? What are the things that you need to make your life better? And so this is what the street outreach team, the SORT team, does every Friday. And it's an integral part of what Corvallis Housing First is. It's our efforts to be engaging with people all through the spectrum, the people that we interact with at the shelters, the men's shelter, the women's shelter, Safe Camp, people out on the street, individuals out in camps, sometimes in really isolated, fairly difficult spots to find. And oftentimes they're funny conversations. Sometimes they engage quickly, sometimes they take quite a while. And it may be one of those things that we visit multiple times before the person actually starts trusting us enough to go, "Oh, there are actually some things that would really be helpful if you could do. I really need to figure out how to get a primary care physician. I need to know how to get signed up for the Oregon Health Plan. I need some dry clothing, or how about a place to get a shower?" This is where Andy has been just a gem and is such a good example of the other members of the SORT team, the people that are out there every day, every Friday, slogging through the backwoods, the nooks, the crannies, and finding the people who are in need of help and starting the process of getting them engaged in housing. So one of the questions that we sometimes get asked is, what exactly does Corvallis Housing First do? And the simplistic answer would be, we provide housing. Name implies that, pretty straightforward. It's not really as simple as that. There's different types of housing, and particularly for people coming in off the street, they have different needs. And for some individuals, all they need is a safe spot to land. So the housing that is safe, that they know they can sleep through the night. They have specific things they want to work on in their lives, but it's fairly straightforward. For others, the permanent supported housing is going to be the direction that needs to be looked at. This is a situation where we have ongoing case management for these individuals, and often for fairly long periods of time. As these individuals work through their particular issues and situations, we make sure that we have case management available to them as they need it. One of the hardest things for individuals coming in off the street, particularly those people who've been in camps for a long period of time, is they don't have the connections to the world. And one of the main things that Corvallis Housing First does is help individuals make those connections. It's as simple as, okay, I need to get food stamps. How do I do that? Who do I talk to? I need to get connected with somebody who can refill my prescriptions. Where do I go? Who do I talk to? This is where guys like Dan and Ilea and our other case managers really, really shine. They have that background, that expertise, that knowledge of who do you talk to. There's a lot of these things that we take for granted that seem very simple, but if you haven't been a part of mainstream society for an extended period of time, it's extremely difficult, and in a lot of cases, very daunting and very overwhelming. And so what happens is nothing happens. One of the things that we see in Corvallis and all other towns across America is that the singularly biggest bottleneck for helping people move out of homelessness is a lack of housing. And that sounds really trivial, but that is the major bottleneck. And that's the area where Corvallis Housing First is really focusing, is trying to develop and identify housing that is suitable for people who are coming off the street or who have had a rough history of trying to stay in housing, might have other problems behind them. So one of the things that we're actively doing is developing additional housing. And in the past 3 years, we've acquired Van Buren House, which was 17 rooms. We've acquired Dee Dee's home, which is 4 rooms plus an additional respite room. And one of the things that I hope to be doing in the next couple of years is looking to find other appropriate facilities for this population. One of the things that we're also trying to do is have a range of different housing types available so that it's not everybody has the same needs and needs to go into the same type of housing. For some people, having a group living situation works really well. So as long as they have their own separate room, they're great. Others need to be in separate apartments or spaces by themselves. And it's a reflection of where they are in their lives. In some cases, that communal aspect is really good. In other cases, it's very detrimental. And so one of the things that we're looking at is to continue developing a range of housing types so that as people come to CHF, we can find the type of housing that has the best chance of being successful for them. Instead of the one size fits all, it's really what is right for this person at this stage in their development, and can we provide that housing and the services to go with it? That's a huge gift to be able to give someone.